Senator. Senator McDowell, do you wish to come in?
Like Senator O'Reilly, I was involved in a lengthy CPPO meeting, and therefore I missed the earlier part of this debate, and much to my regret. But I do want to do a number of things. First of all, I want to note what Senator Norris said, and to wish him well, and to join in with the other members of this House in saluting everything that he has done in the past to end the injustice of over a century, going back to the 1880s, against gay men at that time and the criminalisation of their private lives. There are two things that occur to me. Number one, in legal terms, the mere fact that a bill is passed by the Oireachtas repealing a law doesn't clear convictions under that law. And there's a whole load of constitutional complications. Yeah, you may recall the occasion when the law in relation to unlawful sex with a minor was condemned by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court actually came back to say that does not mean that everyone who is convicted under it gets out of jail. So there's that kind of dimension to the whole issue, that simply repealing a law doesn't effectively clean the slate, nor does, even if the Supreme Court, and it's a pity it never did, condemn the previous law as unconstitutional when it had the opportunity to do so, that wouldn't have cleaned the slate either, as things stand. And one of the things in the context of a scheme to right what was wrong that occurs to me is that the presidential power of pardon is sometimes misunderstood. There's New Zealand case law to the effect that a pardon removes the conviction in its entirety. There's English theory, and all of this arose in the context of the IRA and what should and should not happen to them when I was Minister and when I was Attorney General. There's English theory to the effect that a pardon doesn't actually wipe out the conviction in its entirety. But I think the preferable view is that a presidential pardon does have the effect of completely eliminating the conviction and its consequences for whoever was wrongly convicted. So what I'm saying is we should go as far as we possibly can using every approach to this to say that what was wrong will be put right, that people whose records now appear to show criminal convictions should stand completely equal to every other person who has never been convicted of a criminal offence, and that there should be an acknowledgement, either in the form of a pardon or a statutory scheme or whatever, or a combination of all of them, to put right what was wrong. And you know, the funny thing is that it wasn't until the 1880s that certain forms of what they call gross indecency between male persons were actually criminalised. Prior to that, only one form of sexual activity between gay men was actually criminalised. And now we are in a position, the Labouchere Amendment, as it was called, should never have been enacted by the Westminster Parliament for these islands at the time. I think that's obvious, especially since there was such gross hypocrisy lying at the very heart of it, that it depended on who you were and how well connected you were, that you could ignore that law with impunity, whereas people who were vulnerable found themselves being socially disgraced and prosecuted and imprisoned. And we only have to think of the shocking end to the life of Alan Turing to see just how appalling that law actually was. The tiny incident for which he was convicted, the efforts of the English magistracy to chemically castrate him, and his subsequent suicide. You know, for a man who actually, you could say almost, well, not single-handedly, but in collaboration with others, saved democracy, saved freedom, and saved the world from tyranny. It's a sad, sad reflection in retrospect. So I just want to say I'm sorry that I missed the early portion of the debate on this very important topic. I want to thank those who have proposed it for our consideration today. I think the government should make a real effort to do everything to expunge the injustice that was done and to symbolise by any possible legal and constitutional means the complete cancellation of the facts of those injustices and their consequences, and to have everyone who stands at this stage still tainted by a criminal conviction declared to be entirely innocent and to be regarded in the law as if none of those facts had ever been proven against them in prosecution, still less been punished for what they were. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. I've no